Hey everyone, this is G and welcome to my new and free paint pouring course. In this course, I hope to teach you very quickly about some of the materials you need to get started, how to mix up your paints, and make your very first pour painting. So I've created a starter pack where you can go in and buy everything, and I'll also explain what the components are and what you need them for. If you're seeing this on YouTube, the link is up here. If you're seeing this anywhere else, the link is right below the video. So we obviously need acrylic paint, and a great place to start is this Amsterdam Primary set because it's currently on discount. It's a medium body paint, and it's a good quality paint that'll teach you how proper paints are supposed to behave right off the bat. With it, we will need a pouring medium, and the cheapest option is usually Flood Floetrol 6 if you're in the US. If you're in Europe, that would be called Otrol Paint Conditioner, and if you're anywhere else in the world, don't ship those, it'll be too expensive. Buy a retail pouring medium. We're obviously going to need canvas to paint on, and a starter pack of student grade canvas is usually the best place to start. Our cell additive of choice is going to be silicone oil, and with it we need a small kitchen torch that runs on butane. We're going to need cups and mixing sticks to mix everything up in, and you can either go for cups that have the measurements on them or opt for measuring spoons because we're going to be measuring in volume, not weight. So avoid using a scale, we want to use volume measurements. Now, this is optional, but if you want to keep things neat and tidy, you may want to opt for a silicone mat or nitrile gloves. Go for nitrile instead of latex because you might have an allergy and you might not even know. And you may also want to have a spinner for the techniques that use spinning, but that's optional. You don't have to buy that. Now we need to establish measurements. I'm going to use a tablespoon, and 1 tablespoon will be 1 part. Okay? So the recipe is 2 parts of the pouring medium, so 2 full spoons of the pouring medium, and then 1 part of paint. So using that same spoon, as I'm going to show you, we fill up spoon once. This is 1 part. Fill it up again. That's 2 parts. I prefer to do the fluids first, so when you put the paint back in the spoon, it slides out very easily. Now just fill up that same spoon with paint and stir it up and wait until you're done to add the silicone. So now we need a wet base. I'm using white to make the colors pop the most, especially if they get transparent or if they're transparent to begin with. Everything is mixed in the same recipe that I showed you before. 2 parts pouring medium to 1 part paint. Now the yellow, the magenta or pink, whichever one you see, and the red have 1 drop of silicone each. I've stirred it in, I counted about 12 times. And the black is going to be the swipe color, but the black doesn't have silicone. Everything, all the colors, yellow, pink, red, black, and white are all 2 parts pouring medium and 1 part paint. The only difference between them is the ones that have a drop of silicone and the others don't. The white and black don't. Okay, so as you see, I've put them down in horizontal strips. I'm torching out any bubbles. Do not use a lighter like I am. I just ran out of gas in my torch. And, you know, the lighter A will break down and you will probably burn yourself. So let's not do that. Okay, now I put the color I'm going to swipe with at the very edge. You'll notice my edges are a little messy, but that's because I generally paint over my edges afterwards. If you like having the painting go off on the edges, just tilt in all the directions that you need to get the paint over the edges. I personally prefer to paint my edges black or one of the colors of the painting, or I often dismount the canvas entirely and put it on a different frame so the sides end up being cut. Now I swipe with a tissue. If you're a beginner, I recommend the tissue because it's very weightless and you have less risk of, you know, scraping the paint. I'm going to do a little bit of tilting to get some of that excess black off and spread the paints out a little so the cell development is easy. Notice how I've kept the majority of the paint on the canvas, but that's because the amount of paint I'm using in the first place isn't excessive. You'll notice that when I put the colors, I didn't cover the entire canvas in colors. This accounts for the fact that you're going to spread them out when you swipe them. So now as we begin to torch our silicone oil droplets come to the surface, and that's what we call cells. Those little see-through droplets of silicone give you a little window into the color underneath, and yeah, isn't this awesome? I never get tired of watching cells develop and grow. But yeah, so I don't take too much of your time. A little troubleshooting for you at this stage. So the way your cells appear will tell you a lot about the nature of your paints and the consistency, okay? Especially before you try to tilt. So if your cells are wobbly, that usually means your paints are a little on the thin side. If your cells are very small and struggling to get bigger or struggling to get to the surface, that probably means your cells are too thick. Now, this is all based on the fact that you didn't move it. When you start to move it, if you pick it up and tilt it, if it disintegrates, if it gets really wobbly, again, it's the same thing, you're on the thinner side. If you're able to pick it up and it moves uniformly without warping too much, that's the perfect sweet spot. Now, as you wait for the painting to dry, you want to avoid keeping it near a draft, meaning an AC or a fan. You want to avoid keeping it in direct sunlight. Basically, anything that can speed up the process of drying is bad and likely to make the paint crack. So you want to avoid that entirely. If you want to be on the safe side, consider covering up the painting with a box. This will slow down the drying time, but it will keep you on the safe side, and it will protect it from, hair, debris, if you have pets, anything like that. Under normal circumstances, the painting should be touch dry within a day or two at most, but you want to wait until the painting is fully cured, which takes about 2 to 3 weeks, again, depending on the atmosphere and the temperature and the moisture in the wherever you are. This could take 2, 3, maybe even 4 weeks if it's really damp where you live. Once it's fully dry and cured, you can then seal it whichever way you like. Since we use silicone oil, you will want to wipe it down with rubbing alcohol. It'll be safe, don't worry about it. And that will get the silicone right out, and you'll be able to seal it with whatever varnish or resin of choice. Congratulations, you should now have your first finished acrylic pour painting. Now, if you're ready to step up your game, I want to tell you a little bit about the full acrylic pouring for beginners course. What you saw here was a demonstration of one technique. We're going to explore a lot more in the course. We fully explore a larger range of materials that you might use and their alternatives and what to do with them. We also talk about cells in really, really deep detail. So we explore the science, we explore the how and the why and all the troubleshooting that may arise from it. There's also color theory for you and color inspiration, as well as like a pricing chart for when you want to sell your paintings. It's going to save you so much time and make your life so much easier. You should check it out. And when you do, if you use this code, OMG50, you can get the course for just $50. And the link for the course is either up there or right below the video, depending on where you're seeing this. This is G. I'll see you guys soon.